Feskermagucht, good afternoon to you. Gleva fach erash igen lesson show. Welcome back to this lesson. Show am forward a ga. Am forward parsht a ga. So this is the fall or the autumn, part 2. In part 1 we looked at the phrase fall and how we say in the fall, of the fall, with lots of examples. And now we're going to take a look at the specific months of fall. How do they work? That's what we're going to work with just now. Gleva. Now before we begin, I'd like to just point out a quick thing about how I've organized the months. There have been a number of comments about, traditionally months would start at a certain time rather than this, and there have been a lot of interesting facts coming up about the seasons and from traditions and cultures around the world, which is lovely. So I've just organized them in perhaps a more modern way for convenience. So for example, in the traditional agricultural calendar that the Gaels used to use, the start of summer would technically be Lunastal, as I understand it. Lunastal, which was the festival of Lunasa. Maybe you've heard of that before. Yeah, Gleva. However, these days, I guess I'm working still from a teacher's schedule, a teacher's view of the year. So this is like the school year, right? September, October, November. Tends to be the fall. Although, school may start in August, and there can be a lot of debate about when do certain seasons start. The point is, I've organized them in this way, just for convenience, for speed, perhaps a bit more modernly. There are lots of different traditions that do them differently. Okay, Gleva. So let's jump into our months here. Antuchten. Antuchten. That's our word for September. Antuchten. Now the way that I helped my mind acquire Antuchten, because it's kind of strange looking, kind of tricky looking, it reminded me of the word sultan. And that was unique enough to really put it deep in my mind, to make it memorable, and for me to remember it, when I needed it. Yeah, maybe that's useful to you. Maybe there's another connection you can make between Antuchten and another word. By all means, do it. Whatever connection you can make will help it be more alive in your mind. Leva. Antuchten. Antuchten. So we have a T sound at the beginning, and the T is taking over the sound from the S. We're not saying antusulten or anything like that. Antuchten. Tuchten. So the T sound takes over from the S. And this is true whenever you have a T hyphen and then an S. Well, really T hyphen and anything. It takes over the rest, the next sound, unless it's a vowel. Gleva. So antuchten. A T sound at the beginning. Antuchten. Gleva. Antuchten. So we already can use this. Stolium antuchten. I like September. Chatolium antuchten. I don't like September. Okay, what else could we do? So what about in September? It's cooler in September, or it's warm in September, wherever, based on wherever you are. So let's see. What could we say? Bi karanfur santuchten. Bi karanfur santuchten. Santuchten in the September. In September. Santuchten. There we have it. Yeah. Bi karanfur. Karan, maybe you haven't come across this yet. Karan is a great word. Kinda, sort of, a bit. Yeah. Gleva. Bi, karanfur. And there are other options too. Not everyone says karan. You have other options. But for now, let's just keep it at karan. Yeah. Bi karan fur santuchten. Yeah, gleva. Bi mi asnav santuchten. I go swimming in September. It's a little chilly, but it's nice, for example. Yeah, gleva. Okay. Antuchten, that's just September. Santuchten, in September. Let's make this extra clear. In September. There we are. Santuchten. Clever. Okay. What else could we do? Well, September weather. The weather of September. So what are we going to start with here? Weather. There's two different words. Emishir or Shiche, depending on the dialect that you're following. Emishir, no, Shiche. What comes next? Piaun got him. Na. Sultain. Yeah. Clever. So there's na and e were added. This means of September. Emishir na sulchtainia. Shiche na sulchtainia. Now that is really poetic. It has the alliteration, the same S sound repeated. Shiche na sulchtainia. When that S is repeated, it just, it feels wonderful. It feels wonderful when I hear it. Yeah, when I see it too. Gaelic has a lot of poetry built into it in this way too. If you can have that alliteration in your Gaelic, the same sound repeated, then that's going to, elevate your Gaelic a lot. Yeah, it'll bring that poetic flavor, that poetic character, even when you're talking about everyday things. Okay. Shiche na sulchtainia. Clever. Love that. All right, so it's weather, right? Of the September. Of the. There we are. Weather of the September. Notice it's the September. This is another one of those words that is the. Yeah, all the months are the. Clever. So here we have Antuchten in all its forms. Antuchten, Santuchten, Nasuchtenia. Clever. Just like that. Okay, nice. Let's head over to Andauer. Andauer. Now, I learned that this has a W sound in the middle, Andauer. However, certain dialects would prefer a V sound. Andaver. Andaver, Andauer. Just a regional difference. Clever. Okay, so Andauer. What does that mean? It's October. But there's also another meaning in here. The word dav. Dav means a stag, right? A male deer. Yeah, so this is the stag time, we could think of that. And October is when the male deer are fighting for mates. So you hear them bellowing all the time. Roar, roar. Maybe that wasn't the most accurate stag bellow, but you get the idea. The deer are making the stags in particular are making a lot of noise. So this is the stag time. In Scotland, if you're ever around the countryside in October, you'll hear them. Oh, you'll absolutely hear them. Clever. So maybe that's a way that will help you remember this month. And daver, dav, stag, right? Male deer. It's October. October is when the male deer fight. Clever. Okay, let's see if I can pull off a deer here. I tend not to draw the deer, actually. Maybe I should practice. More of a reindeer, but that's okay. Clever. Clever. Dav. Dav. Show dav. It's a stag. Yeah, a male deer. Okay. Clever. So, Andauer. Andauer. Stolium Andauer. I like October. Oh, Chatolium Andauer. I don't like October. Okay, so we have some things we could already use with Andauer. Ha Andauer aun. October is here. Ha Andauer aun. Ha Andauer aun. Clever. October's here. Oh, clever. Okay, what else can we do? Like we did over here, we have different forms. We want to see the different forms of an dawer. What could we do? Well, let's follow our pattern here. Bi I fur san dawer. Oh, bi I fur san dawer. Bi fur san dawer. Fur. It gets cold in October. It will be cold. So san dawer in the October. Gleva. Yeah. Bi I fur san dawer. Or we could say stolium a vi akashach san dawer. I like to be walking in October, or hiking. I like hiking, I like walking in October. Gleva. Okay, Skanjel. Let's take a look at the other form here, like we did with September, with Antulchtin. What could we do? Well, I don't know about where you are, but in Maine and New England, the colors on the trees are stunning in October. It's the time when they're the brightest, if we've had a good rainfall over the summer. So if the weather's been just right, we'll have a very vivid display. And if it hasn't been just right, it'll still be gorgeous. Yeah. So what could we do here? So let's do the colors. The colors of October. Dagen. Dagen. Na. Dawer. Dagen na dawer of the October. Hamigiri Jerak. Gleva. Dagen na dawer. Dagen na dawer. I mean, heck, doesn't that sound poetic too? Over here we had shicha na sulchtenya. Oh, those S sounds. Now we have D sounds. Dagen na dawer. Oh, beautiful. Gaelic is so poetic. Gaelic is so gorgeous. Gleva. All right. Dagen na dawer. What else could we do? Just for good measure, maybe October foods. Yeah, foods that one has in October. Bieg na dawer. October foods. Or we could have emisher na dawer, shicha na dawer, etc., etc. All you do is just put a word right here in front of na dawer, and it's that thing of October. Gleva. The genitive doesn't have to be big and scary. It can feel big and scary when you're meeting it on a page and trying to analyze it and, study it. It can be intimidating and unpredictable. However, in context, when we focus on meaning first, it's just another little thing to keep in mind. It's not as big. Okay, maha, gleva. So we did Antulchtin, Andawer. I really like Andawer because there's no, you don't have to think about T's, dropping T's, E's on the end. Andawer is very easy. It's Sandawer in October. Nadawer of October. Done. Gleva. All right. Antawen. What do we have here? Antawen. Well, before we get to our examples, let's sort out what it means. You may have guessed it means November by now. Yep. Antawen. And as before, with Antulchtin, the T takes over the sound of the S. Antawen. Just like that. Antawen. Yep. T takes over the sound of the S when they're arranged like this. T hyphen S, the T sound takes over. All right. Antawen. Maybe you see the word Samhain in there. Yeah, this is Samhain time, Samhain month, November. This is the start of the ancient, I guess you could call it ancient New Year. Yeah, the old Celtic New Year started around this time. Gleva in Antawen. Okay, maha, gleva. So, what do we have here? What could we put? In November. What in November? What's in November? We could do weather, I guess, the weather in November. Snow. When I was a kid, we used to have snow in November. Yeah. Okay, maha. So let's see. This won't be a full sentence, but it'll be like a chunk, a fragment here. Sneach san tawen. There we are. Snow in November. It's a thing of the past now, unfortunately. Sneach san tawen. All right. Sneach, we got to have some lovely snowflakes here. Oh, bria. Oh, bria. I'm looking forward to winter. I don't know about you. Maybe you don't like winter. That's okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out snowshoeing. All right, so sneach san tawen. Pretty straightforward. San tawen. Just like that. If you know an tawen, put san in front of it to mean in the. Okay, what else could we do? Let's come over here. We're starting to run out of space. What could we do? What could we do? What would be of November? The weather of November, we did that. The food of November, okay. Colors of November, usually things are pretty dead by them. The cold of November. Why not? Yeah, the cold of November. Fuach. Na. Sauna. We're not talking about saunas, I'm afraid. Although that must be really nice to do in November. I'd like that. A nice icy plunge and then a sauna right after. All right. Fuach is cold. So we're not saying it is cold. It's the thing. It's the cold. Yeah. Fuach. Fuach. Fuach na sauna. The cold of November. It does tend to get pretty chilly. Of the November. There we are. Fuach na sauna. The cold of November. Gleva. Just like that. So with antawin, it does change a bit when it's of November. Sauna. Sauna. And another way that we can remember is oichehauna. Oichehauna, or as it was originally written, let's put that, the really old form here. Oiche. It's going to be clear to you now. Na. Oiche na sauna. Shane. Oiche na sauna. It's not the night of saunaing, although that sounds very nice. It's Halloween. It's Samhain time. It's Samhaintide. Yeah. Halloween. Or there are various other definitions of this time of year. Halloween is I guess a modern equivalent. Yeah. But it does help us place it in the calendar, so to speak. All right. Oiche na sauna. Just like that. Although these days, often the na is omitted, and the word is smushed together, oichehauna. You'll probably see that too. Yeah. But this older form shows you this in action, this pattern. Oiche na sauna. Gleva. Very nice. Very nice. I mean, heck, we could... Here's a thought. That just hit me right now. We could put, in other words, like la na sauna. It's a November day. Yeah, fisker na sauna. It's a November afternoon, November evening. We could certainly do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is a very versatile form here. And as I mentioned before, when you learn these genitives in context, with other words as phrases, they become much less scary and much more manageable. And then they just become natural to you. However, if it's, studying it linguistically and such, for some folk that works really well. For a lot of folk, it's a huge struggle. And it can, really lower your spirits. It can really set you back. It set me back. Yeah, it was very difficult for me to overcome when I was starting out with my Gaelic. Gleva. I wish I had learned this way, with it in context, learning phrases that include these genitives so that I just get it, I've got a sense of it. And then I can put in other words. I can plug in other words here in front of na sauna. And I've got it. I'm using it just as if I had mastered it by, studying it a bit more analytically. Yeah, gleva. So if the genitive scares you, makes you want to run for the hills, you're definitely not alone. There are many learners, I would say most, the vast majority probably, of learners find it challenging. However, it doesn't have to be that way if you learn it, the phrases in context. Yeah, gleva, just like this. Oiche na sauna, fuach na sauna. There we go. Dahan na dawer, beautiful poetic phrase. Sheeche na sulchtenia, lovely. Yeah, September weather, October colors, November cold. There we are. Straightforward, right? We're still alive. Still in one piece. Okay, gleva, enough about the genitive. Before we wrap up this lesson, I'd like to share a little poem with you, a little verse, in hopes that it'll bring these words, these phrases deeper into your mind, make them a bit more memorable. Yeah, gleva. So it's called Amfoer, which, as we know, means the fall, the autumn, gleva. Stocha scarfa san tuchtin, dahan bria san dawer. I guess chena san tei san tawen. Gleva. Let's sort out what these mean really quick, just to make sure everything's totally clear. Amfoer, fall or autumn. Stocha scarfa, so maybe or perhaps a scarf. Stocha scarfa san tuchtin, maybe a scarf in September. It's starting to get colder, right? Yeah. Bi karan fuer san tuchtin. Stocha scarfa san tuchtin. Gleva. Dahan bria san dawer. Dahan, in colors. Beautiful colors. Dahan bria san dawer. Beautiful colors in October. Certainly in Maine. Chena san tei san tawen. Chena, that's a fire. And also it's used colloquially, in everyday speech as a way to talk about heat. Yeah. So heat in the house, or a fire. A fire in the house. Meaning in the fireplace, or in the wood stove. Nothing dangerous. Chena san tei san tawen. So there is a fire in the house in November, because it's cold. Bi fuer, yeah. Gleva. And there we have it. Amfoer. Stocha scarfa san tuchtin. Dahan bria san dawer. Chena san tei san tawen. Gleva. Hope you enjoy this poem. I hope it helps make everything a bit more memorable for you. Have fun with these phrases. Use them. Talk about what's going on for you at this time of year, in these different months. Yeah, just have fun with it. And however it turns out is fine. Yeah, gleva. All right, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to see you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Gleva. Chiri chiri.